So as you can see in the title, this video is going to be all about de-influencing you. And it's kind of funny because when I first started doing YouTube videos, it was before they came up with the term influencer. It was like years before people were calling this influencing. I was just doing like makeup tutorials and product reviews, just trying to be helpful because that kind of content didn't really exist in a human to human kind of environment. But I feel like now everything is so cluttered. You get so many people telling you, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. I get really overwhelmed with this feeling and pressure of like over consuming everything, because everything sounds so exciting, it sounds so good. I've tried so many makeup and skincare products. Over the years, I've gotten a pretty good idea of which things to like hop on the train with and which things I want to step back with. So maybe on like TikTok and stuff, you might have heard of the de-influencing trend in regards to specific viral products and other people's opinions of why you should not partake. But I want to go a little bit broader. I really truly want this to be not just me being like, oh, don't buy that lipstick, this lipstick is way better. In a very self-aware kind of way, that is still influencing. You know what I mean? That's still like encouraging you to buy a thing. So in this video, even if I tell you something that you should do instead, I'm just not gonna use any affiliate links. I'm not gonna like tell you what thing to buy, but I think more in broad strokes. I'm gonna give you reasons for why there are certain things you should just avoid or think twice about before you purchase it. Hopefully this will be a very helpful video if you like this and you wanna see more in terms of, because this is gonna be mostly skincare things. If you want one that's more like beauty related or for me to elaborate on other specific topics, let me know down in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you find this helpful. Definitely, I would love it if you subscribe if you like seeing this kind of content, because I have, years and years worth of beauty on my channel. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into de-influencing, me telling you what not to buy. The first thing that I think you should not buy is products where they're trying to sell you on hyaluronic acid. So hyaluronic acid is actually an ingredient where it draws moisture to it. In terms of skincare, you'll have like an HA serum where it is supposed to plump up your skin and just keep your skin really hydrated and moisturized. First of all, yes, it does that and it does a good job of it, but it's kind of like water. If you drink a lot of water, you're very hydrated, but the way your skin is it has a lot of layers. The middle layers are where the hydration go, and then you have a top lipid, aka fat layer, and that sort of like holds the moisture in. So the thing about an HA serum is it will plump up your skin, but you have to also be conscientious in balancing that with your moisture barrier, that lipid layer. So if you're just like putting on a hyaluronic acid thinking that that's going to give you a lot of moisture, but then you're not actually using something to seal it in, like a good face cream moisturizer on top of it, it's going to draw water to it, but then it's just going to evaporate. It's not actually going to stay in your skin. It's not going to give you a long-term result. I'm not a cosmetic chemist, so don't quote me on this, but I believe hyaluronic acid itself is readily available. It's not a super expensive ingredient. So I just personally think you don't need to spend your big bucks on an ingredient like hyaluronic acid. If you have a really good basic routine where your skin is well balanced and well moisturized, your moisture barrier is intact, I personally don't see any long-term effect when I am using something with added hyaluronic acid or when I'm not. In fact, it's almost like sometimes can be the opposite. Like say you have one of those like fabric face masks and it has a lot of hyaluronic acid in it. When you put it on your face, yes, it's going to plump up your face while it's wet because it's drawing moisture to it. But say you accidentally fall asleep with it, the moisture is going to be drawn from your skin to the mask and it's going to dry out. When you take the mask off, all the moisture from inside your skin is getting drawn out to the hyaluronic acid away from your skin, and it can actually dry your skin out because that hyaluronic acid isn't under that lipid layer of your skin. It's a good ingredient if you use it the right way and the right steps in your skincare routine, but can you live without it? Is your skin still moisturized without it? Yes. Whether HA is in it, it's not a make it or break it ingredient, and I definitely am not gonna drop like $100 on a hyaluronic acid serum when my skincare routine is pretty well balanced without it in the first place. It's not a deal breaker. So the second thing that I am going to say, just reconsider before you buy, is kind of a category with two different products: tanning products and bleaching products. So I'm not gonna like sit on my high horse and say, oh, you should never use tanning or bleaching products. And I know some bleaching products can be used cyclically, like not continuously, to lighten up things like melasma, hyperpigmentation. I've tried that kind of thing as well, where it's just specifically targeting certain overproductions of melanin. What I'm more talking about is the whole idea of needing to adjust the color of your skin to fit societal standards. There's something about that that really kind of makes me sad. In my own history growing up, I'm Korean American, I heard a lot of comments of like, why are you so tan? If I visited Korea, we can tell you're a foreigner because you're so dark. Why are you so toasted? Why are you so tan? I felt like that was such a stark contrast to when I would go to school. All of the girls at school would be like going to the tanning beds and getting super dark during the summer, like laying out at the beach. I felt so conflicted because I was being told completely opposite things about what it took to be pretty, and I felt like I was never tan enough to suit the like leisurely tan friends that I had, and I wasn't light enough to suit like Korean culture's ideas of beauty. And as I got older, I kind of realized like I can choose to just not buy into it. Yes, I am tanner than most Koreans, or actually not most Koreans. I think a lot of Koreans are my skin tone. It's just that the standard of beauty, what Koreans think is pretty, is lighter than me. But I want to not care about that because this is my skin tone. This is what I naturally look like. There's nothing unhealthy or bad or wrong with me having the exact level of melanin that I just have. I get darker in the summer, that's fine. I wear sunscreen to protect my skin, but I don't necessarily expect myself to not tan even if I put sunscreen over my whole body. I still get tan. And at this point in my life, that's not the message I want to send to my kids, that they need to adjust themselves to be more attractive. I just disagree with that. So I want to live by that in my own life. I don't know if you guys have ever known this about me, but since the beginning of my content journey over a decade ago, I kind of made a promise to myself that I would never promote, be sponsored by, or really like ever encourage people to buy any sort of self-tanners or bleach products, period. Even if it's something that might seem like it's totally not a big deal, you could still be influencing one or two other people in your life. I just think for things like that, where it changes your skin color or the perception other people have of your skin color, it's not a bad idea to just take your time to think twice about what kind of message that sends on like a deeper level. Okay, so the next category of things that I think you should consider alternatives on, which is kind of a weird one. Razors. Obviously, body hair and body hair removal, that's a decision that people make unique to your own experience and your own self. What you want to do is totally valid. You don't have to shave. You don't have to remove any hair if you like. I just don't know if razors are my favorite way of removing hair long term or short term either. It's actually like very, very wasteful and expensive over time to keep buying razors, which are a very disposable product. I know there are a lot of alternatives out there, like there are the razors that use the safety razors and you just keep the handle and you can switch those out. I haven't personally used those myself. The alternative that I would suggest if you haven't tried is actually using an epilator. And yes, it is kind of painful. It's kind of like plucking, mechanical plucking mechanism. I'll just show you the one I have. I think I've had it for like 10 years, so I don't even know if you can buy this exact one. So like I said before, I don't think I'm actually going to link this in the info box, but I just have this one. The cord is literally discolored because I've had it for so many years, but it works perfectly. It works so perfectly. It's so fast. I use this on my underarms, and it's plug-in, so I never have to like replace batteries. I just plug it into the wall when I want to use it, and it has these little pluckers at the end. And I was thinking about it, and like, I've used this for so many years. I've used it for like a decade, and it still works just as well as the day I bought it. I've never had to replace it. It's the only epilator I've ever purchased, and still the only one I've ever needed to have. Yeah, for me, it's literally faster than shaving. It makes your hair stay away for longer. I don't get ingrowns, I don't get discoloration like I do from shaving, and I'm not filling up landfills with it. I also fairly recently just started a session of like professional laser hair removal, which this is my first time going. I've only had one session, but I'm actually pretty impressed with even just the results of going once. I was really deterred because I felt like the price about 10 years ago when I checked into it was like really expensive, but I was really pleasantly shocked to look into it recently, and it was actually quite affordable, especially when you think of the cost of just buying razors over the course of 1 year. Just hair removal in general is a whole topic that is worth reconsidering our habits to see if we don't really need to be buying the way that we are. Well, now it might break. Okay, so my next category of things that I am going to de-influence you about is definitely facial massaging devices. I wish I was the kind of self-care girl that just like uses all of those like facial rollers and spends an hour like giving myself like a facial massage. I'm a mom of two. The kids are still like fairly little. Usually at night, I just want to zombie out. I'm not massaging my skin. Maybe that is you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, it got so dark. It's a very cloudy day today. If the lighting is just gonna get dark and light, just forgive me. It's a cloudy day. I'm a human being trying to film this before picking the kids up. So in terms of skincare devices, what I'm talking about are, let me see. I have a couple of things here. Okay, so I'm just saying, I have a few of these devices. They're nice, it's fun, it feels good. But some of these like facial roller kind of things, they can be very expensive, especially the Korean ones that I've seen that look like they're made of like crystals. I have some rose quartz little things. It can help depuff under the eyes. It feels really nice. Is it necessary? No. It's not necessary. The reason why I say it's not necessary isn't that it doesn't feel good or it's not effective. It's just that the benefits you get from massaging your face every day, it's not going to take away wrinkles. It's not going to tone up your skin so that you look more youthful. It might be able to help reduce some of the inflammation or fluid retention that you have in your face after you like eat a little bit too much ramen the night before. You could potentially spend $40 on a retinol that is going to last you 6 months to a year, depending on how much you're using. And after a year, you will actually see significant changes in your skin looking more youthful, having less pigmentation, less wrinkles. But this, where you might be spending 2 to 3 times that much, you could use it every day. You're not gonna like look better for it. Will it feel good while you're using it? Yes, but just be realistic about what you're getting. And in terms of facial massage, it's just as effective to use your hands, or another cool trick you can do, a little hack, take a couple of your regular eating spoons, take 2 of them, put them in the fridge. It works just as well, it's gonna be just as cooling, and you can also just pop them in the dishwasher after and clean everything. It's so easy. It's actually probably more sanitary than using something like this, although this does feel really nice. Okay, so the next thing I want to de-influence you from picking up is at-home microneedling. Microneedling, I think, is an incredible category of helping your skin be more youthful, especially if you suffer from something like acne scarring, like ice pick scars, the actual like concave kind of scarring. It's very, very difficult to use any kind of chemical products to actually make a dent in that textured kind of scarring. Microneedling is something that actually does really work. The problem is that with microneedling becoming so popular, I think a lot of people are just going to like Amazon and buying really inexpensive microneedling devices, and they're not necessarily made with the best quality needles on them, and the more you use them, they almost create little jagged punctures in your skin. So with the at-home microneedling, the quality of needles isn't necessarily the same as something that you would get if you went into an office and paid for a microneedling treatment. A lot of the ones in the offices, they can completely sanitize properly or dispose of them after they use them, and so the needles themselves are going to stay really sharp. But the at-home devices, not only are they getting dull with each use, which can create, instead of just like a clean poke into your skin where your skin can heal really quickly, the more dull it is, the more it's actually going to tear and rip your skin in little like micro tearing. Also, the at-home devices are in a roller motion. I don't know if you've kind of seen the roller micro needles that you can get. The ones in office usually just poke straight forward. That, on top of not necessarily being able to properly UV sanitizing it completely at home, even if you're dipping it into alcohol, it's not quite the same as like completely sanitizing it. If you're invested long-term in your skin, maybe it's not a bad idea to stick to getting those kinds of treatments in an office. Long-term, it might not be the best choice to do at home. So I guess that's it for today's video. I really hope you found this video interesting and maybe it encouraged you to purchase less. Like I said earlier, I would love to expand this to other topics as well. So if you want to see like a part 2 to this video, let me know that down in the comments. I hope that we can all just make a little bit more like conscientious purchasing decisions together, because that's also where my head's been at lately. Just trying to like declutter my life, trying to make smart decisions and not be so quick buying everything that everyone recommends. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Mwah.